Wait, who are you?
We're the Avengers, man.
We are Venom.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. These are going to be my Venom, Spider-Man, Marvel Easter eggs. Hopefully you've had a chance to see the movie, but obviously careful for spoilers if you have not yet, because we'll be talking about very specific stuff. There's a new round of that Spider-Man PS4 game giveaway too. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave a Venom-related comment on the video. Starting with the big stuff first, you probably noticed that the astronaut that was flying that spacecraft that crashed with the symbiotes was named Jameson. That's the son of J. Jonah Jameson himself. He debuted in the very first Amazing Spider-Man title. Spider-Man had to save a crashing spaceship. They also did the 90s animated TV series Venom Origin Story, where J. Jonah Jameson's son is flying a space shuttle. They get an alien soil sample that just happens to have the symbiote in it. Then when they try to land the spaceship, it crashes in New York City because the symbiote breaks containment and possesses J. Jonah Jameson's son.
Stop! Get it off me!
What is it? What's happening?
Help me!
What's going on up there?
When Eddie tries to expose Carlton Drake but then gets fired, that's actually a reference to him getting fired in the comics for fake news. There was a Sin Eater article that he tried to expose. Spider-Man caught the real Sin Eater and then exposed Eddie as a fraud. So part of the reason why he's called Venom is because when he was calling other people, there was a montage during the movie when he was trying to find work. In the comics, he did the same thing, but the excuses that other people were giving for not hiring him were that he was venomous. That was Todd McFarlane's way of explaining how you got to the Venom name in the comics, why Eddie would call himself Venom, because everyone else thought that he was venomous. The newspaper that he got fired from in New York City, they say, was the Daily Globe, but the Daily Globe is from Amazing Spider-Man number 27, so it is a thing from the comics. You probably heard the law firm shout out. The law firm that Anne Wang gets fired from after the whole Eddie incident is Michelin and McFarlane, the two people that created the Venom character, David Michelin and Todd McFarlane. The name of Eddie's apartment is also a really big deep cut. It's named the Schuler Building after Randy Schuler, who submitted the idea for the black symbiote costume way back during Secret Wars when Jim Shooter was taking fan ideas. So he submitted the idea for Spider-Man wearing a costume that looked like this. It had a red emblem. Marvel decided to change that, gave him the white emblem, but he's essentially the guy who was the reason for the way the costume looks the way it does. Now, his idea didn't have anything to do with it being a symbiote and it being alive. That came with Todd McFarlane and much later when they turned it into something of an evil anti-hero type character when they introduced it to the Eddie Brock character. But there's also a building named after Ron Lim, who's the penciler who took over on artwork for the Venom solo title when he got his first little mini-series. They almost did all 5 of the symbiotes from Lethal Protector, but there were only 4 total, including the Venom one. So after the Riot symbiote leaves J. Jonah Jameson and enters that female EMT and she just walks off into the night, that's actually Donna Diego from the comics. She got the Scream symbiote, the yellow one, and there was a yellow symbiote, although the one that she had was the Riot one at the time. The other symbiotes that they did from the Lethal Protector storyline were the bluish-looking one, which was Agony, and the green-looking one, which was Lasher. They wound up dying during experimentation, which is why they were only left with the Venom and the Riot symbiotes. At the end of the motorcycle chase, when Venom picks that security guard up and says that he's going to eat him, so many snacks, so little time, that's actually right out of the first appearance of Venom after he goes after Peter Parker. When he starts getting all crazy about eating brains, though, that's actually from Venom the Hunger comic book title, so that didn't come till later. When the movie reveals that some of the symbiotes are eating their hosts alive, even the Venom symbiote starts to eat Eddie a little bit and then says quickly that I can fix him. That's actually right out of the comics too. When Spider-Man first wanted to get rid of the black costume when he found out that it was alive, he found out that it was literally eating him alive. The original comic book origin of Eddie Brock Venom was a bit of a retcon to that actual story. So Spider-Man uses the sonic frequencies to get rid of the symbiote. Then later when Todd McFarlane came on the title, they sort of added a little addendum to what happened after Spider-Man used the bells to get the costume off. In the original version of the story, the symbiote just slinked off into the night. Then later Todd McFarlane retconned that so that the symbiote fell to Eddie Brock and he just happened to be in the area when this was happening. When the symbiote bonds with Anne Wang so that they can go save Eddie, that's a reference to She-Venom, which is a thing from the comics where Anne Wang did get the symbiote. Then the actual grand plan plan that Riot has to take the shuttle into orbit and bring all of the other symbiotes down to planet Earth is a comic book reference to Planet of the Symbiotes. The whole idea that the symbiotes are evil and want to consume planet Earth is actually something that's been retconned more recently. So symbiotes used to be a little bit more terrible. In the very recent comics, you meet the god of the symbiotes who actually created the All Black, which is the Necro sword used during the Thor comics, which is a big Thor Easter egg, that then becomes shards of the god's soul. Those are the symbiotes. I did a video a little while ago. They actually used that for the tale of Beowulf. So Thor was part of Marvel's version of the Beowulf origin story, but it turns out that Grendel really was a symbiote in that version of events. Obviously, I mentioned Lethal Protector, the Life Foundation, Carlton Drake, both characters right out of that. The whole idea is it is one of the earliest stories where Venom gets to be more heroic than he would normally be. So they sort of turned Venom into an anti-hero, but that really didn't happen till after Carnage was introduced. In the comic book version, the difference is that Carlton Drake already had Eddie Brock with the symbiote. He forces it to reproduce, creating 5 new children of Venom, not including Carnage. During the final big boss battle, when he's fighting the Riot symbiote, it says this guy has things that you've never seen before. That's a reference to Carnage. He starts making blades, all kinds of projectiles that extend from his body. Those are all skills that they didn't really introduce till the Carnage symbiote came along. And when they're ripping each other apart and you see their human faces beneath the symbiotes here, that's actually a panel right out of the 1995 Venom Carnage Unleashed miniseries, where Carnage is ripping the symbiote right off of Eddie's head. There was a very notable Wilhelm scream when he was attacking those security guards. They put it in all the trailers. Can't really get away with a big genre film without a Wilhelm scream in there somewhere. Then there was obviously that huge Carnage post-credit scene, which is an Easter egg for them introducing him in the comics with his comic book origin. Just happens to be there in proximity to Eddie Brock when his symbiote spawns, giving him his own symbiote, becoming the Carnage character. But the graffiti that he's using his own blood for while he's being interviewed by Eddie is actually an Easter egg for this, because after he broke out in the comics, he went on this rampage. Spider-Man went to investigate, and sure enough, he signed his own work. There were a whole bunch of smaller Easter eggs too, like when the dog gets the symbiote. They've actually done that in the comics before, but let me know if you spotted any really big ones that I didn't mention in the video. What'll happen is I'll do more Venom Carnage videos through the rest of the year as we learn more about what's going on with the sequel. Obviously, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is going to be released in December. There'll be more footage for that dropping soon too. But the Russos dropped the most epic of teasers last night, saying that they had wrapped officially on the reshoots for Avengers 4, so even though there is still a lot of post-production and special effects editing left to be done on the film, they are officially done shooting new scenes. There have been a lot of requests to do a video for the supposed description of the trailer, so I'll probably do a video for that either today or tomorrow and just incorporate this new Russo's little picture that they dropped. Congratulations, Ezekiel Rodriguez. You're the giveaway winner from my last big video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. So no worries, while you wait for everything, click here for that video of the brand new Spider-Man suit spotted in New York City, which is awesome, and click here for that new Avengers 4 armor teaser. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.